Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. So Shaq said the Bucks are on pace for another first round exit. And I gotta agree with him. They haven't been good since Doc Rivers took over. They've been pretty bad. I'm not trying to blame Doc Rivers. They just haven't been playing good. Damian Lillard been playing like trash. I don't know what happened to him. So his game fell off a cliff. Giannis been playing pretty good, but they just haven't been winning games. They lost to the Grizzlies. No Ja Morant. How do you lose to the Grizzlies without Ja Morant? When you have Damian Lillard, Giannis, Brook Lopez. Like, that's insane. And it's not looking good for the team. It's not looking good for Doc Rivers. Since he took over, he have a losing record. Since Doc Rivers took over Adrian Griffin's job, he's been terrible. They won about 2 games, maybe 3. I think they won 3 games out of like 7. It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good right now. And this is a team that was supposed to be the cream of the crop. When they got Damian Lillard, everybody was saying, oh, this team is going to win the title. But it's not looking like it. They're not looking good. They're just not looking good, man. And Dame's game is just non-existent. Like, what's going on with Dame? We know he's not a good defender, but the one thing we always could rely on from Dame is offense. He's a great offensive player, but his game been trash. The Bucks haven't been good ever since Doc Rivers took over. And I gotta agree with Shaq, man. This team is not looking like they're gonna make it past the second round. And if that's the case, that's not a good look for Doc Rivers. I mean, he has his history. We know his resume. So this is what Shaq had to say. The Bucks have to understand, because Giannis and Dame, opponents are going to be playing way above their heads. But forget all that. You're supposed to blow this team out by 30. They were supposed to come out and smash this team, but Chuck said it. They had trouble with defense. No timely stops, no effort. It's a championship team on paper. But the way they're playing right now, they're going to get swept in the first round. So that's what Shaq had to say. And I agree, man. The Bucks are not playing up to par right now. They're not playing like a championship team, a team with championship aspiration, and they're trying to win a title. If you're trying to win a title, man, you got to develop good habits. You got to work on good habits. You got to get your game together through the regular season. And, we're approaching the second half of the season. You got to develop chemistry, get your ducks in order for the playoff. Because if the Bucks go in the playoff playing like this, they're definitely going to be a first or second round exit. Because they're just not playing good, man. They're not playing good. They're losing to teams they're supposed to beat. I know it's the NBA and any team could beat any team. We know all this, but come on, man. You're playing the Grizzlies, no Ja Morant. You have Giannis and Dame. You got to have some pride. Like, come on, we can't lose to the Grizzlies. They need to string together some wins so they can move back up in the standings. And that's crazy, man. You lose to the Grizzlies? I was shocked when I saw that. Like, they lost to the Grizzlies? And Damian Lillard, I don't know what's going on with this dude, man. He's not playing good right now, and the team is relying on him to be the second star. And if Dame Dollar don't show up, or he's not playing at a high level, it's going to be hard to win. So the Bucks just lost 2 games straight, but they lost to the Grizzlies, man. There's no way you lose to the Grizzlies. They have no Ja Morant, no Steven Adams, no Jaren Jackson Jr., no Marcus Smart. So the Bucks basically lost to bench players. Majority of the starters didn't play. And this is not looking good for Doc Rivers, man. You took over for Adrian Griffin. Since Doc Rivers took over as head coach, they have a negative record. They have a losing record. That is insane. How do you lose with no Ja Morant, no Steven Adams, no Jaren Jackson, no Marcus Smart? How do you lose that game? That is crazy. And, Doc Rivers called out the team, called out the roster. And I don't blame him, because that's an effort thing. You could say it's coaching, all this nonsense. No, this ain't coaching. This is effort and will. How do you lose to a team with no starters on the floor? All the main players are not playing. They're out. And they still lost. This is just embarrassing, man. And this team is not championship ready. Not even close. If Giannis want to win another chip, if Dame want to win his first chip, they got to get it together. because this team is not beating Boston. They're not beating Denver. They're not beating the Clippers. Not happening. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So if they're trying to get a championship, first you're going to have to beat Boston. You're going to have to go through Boston. And if you're lucky enough to make it, then you're going to have to probably see Denver or the Clippers. Doc Rivers got to get it together. Once again, I'm not blaming him, but at the end of the day, he is the head coach. And ever since he took over, they have a negative record. They won about 3 games, I think. They're probably 3-7 or 3-8. But ever since Doc Rivers took over, it hasn't been good. And that's the crazy part about the whole situation. Giannis was unhappy with Adrian Griffin, so he got him replaced by Doc Rivers, and it's even worse. Adrian Griffin had him winning. They had a winning record. The team wasn't losing, but for some reason, Giannis was unhappy with his system, his schematics, and got him fired. They brought in Doc Rivers, and I'm fond of Doc Rivers. I have no issues with him. I like the guy as a coach. I like Doc Rivers. But I got to keep it real, man. They're losing. They are not winning games. Even worse, they're not beating teams they're supposed to beat. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. If you're talking about we're trying to win a championship. Giannis did his thing. He had 35 points, 12 assists. So Giannis showed up. He played. He showed out, but nobody else showed up. Well, Dame Dollar, he scored 24 points, but he shot terrible. And Dame just haven't been himself, man. Like, he haven't been playing up to par. The first game when they acquired Dame, he went off. And, everybody was like, yeah, that's what they needed. The man was looking good. The first game he played as a Buck. And then ever since then, it's been up and down, more down than up. I don't know what's going on with Dame. And if they're going to win a championship, they're going to need Dame Dollar to be Dame Dollar. Because the player who used to be the second option, Chris Middleton, he's no longer that. He's injury prone, and he's just no longer that. Hence why they went out and got Dame Dollar. So hopefully they could get this together, man. They got a whole second half of the season. And we're going to see how this all pans out, man, because Doc got to get it together. Dame got to figure out something, find his game, because losing is not an option. They got to get it done, man. And what's crazy about the whole situation is, despite all the losing, they're still top 4 in the East. Why? Because when Doc Rivers took over, they already had a great record. When Doc Rivers took over, they were in the 2nd seed, and they fell all the way to the 4th seed. Being that they already had a great record from Adrian Griffin, they had some cushion basically. But the win-to-loss ratio haven't been good, man. They have been losing way more games than winning. And something got to give. If they're going to compete and they're trying to win a championship, something got to give, man. They got to get it together. The Bucks traded Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard. And what was the trade-off? Drew Holiday plays great defense. Dame is not a good defender. And if Dame offense is off, and we know he's a terrible defender, then what other purpose do we serve? And this season, Damian Lillard is shooting 42% and 34% from 3. The worst it has ever been in his entire career. So his numbers are down across the board. His points is fine, obviously. He's playing with Giannis. His points is going to decrease a little. That's normal. But his shooting been bad, man. He's not shooting good. And if the Bucks want to win games, Dame Dollar is going to have to find his shooting. So Dame's been real inefficient this season. Maybe this is a sign that he's declining. Obviously, he's 34 years old. And as you age, your game slowly declines. So maybe Dame is on a downslope, or he's just in a slump. But on the positive side, he just won the 3-point contest, and he won the All-Star MVP. He shot pretty well in the All-Star game, and he won the 3-point contest. So hopefully that'll carry over. But we're going to see what happens moving forward, man. But as always, I'll holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, holla at your boy. It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.